Hello friends, welcome to 𝘲𝘢𝘭𝘶 video session 133. So basically in today's video, we will understand how we can get the default, fields in a data set. So what happens is when you open a data set, there are some default fields when you go to the values table. So for the values table, how we can see the default fields, automatically the things which we want to see. And probably I will try to cover something, how we can get notification of data sets, okay, and the subscription part. So let me go to Analytics Studio. And I think we were doing something on this one, account opportunity lens. So what I will do is I will just open this one, account of left join. Now, one thing which you observe, immediately when I go to values table, right? So basically, this is how the complete values table looks like, right? So when I open this account of left join, you see we have this opportunity ID, account name, opportunity name, split one, industry and amount. Automatically, this will all the time open for you. Fine. So again, like if I close it, and if I open this account of left join, and immediately if I go to my values table, you see this is how this part comes into picture. Now let's say there's a standard way I want to see it. So of course you can always select all the fields from here, but let's say when I come over here, I want to see certain fields only over here. Okay, whenever I open this particular data set in values table. Okay, so what I will do is here we have something called as a show fields panel. Fine, and under show fields panel you will have something which is written as default fields. Okay, so if you see the option over here, default fields. Okay, now what I will be doing is there are few default fields which I will select, which I want to see whenever I open this data set. So firstly, I will just keep the account ID, then the account name. I will keep the account industry, then I will keep the opportunity ID, then the opportunity name, and maybe the stage. That's it. Okay, I don't need anything else. So I want to see the account ID, account name, industry, opportunity ID, opportunity name, and stage. Whenever I open this particular data set in the edit mode. So what I will do is I will just click on update over here, and from here I will just click on save. Okay. The changes will be applied. So basically, if there are some dashboard which I'll be using with the help of this data set, it will be always applied over there as well. Okay. So that's completely fine. Now, the thing is that now suppose, so this is now saved. And now if I close this, and if I open this once again, okay, and immediately if you see, if I go to my values table, okay, you observe that this is the format which is coming up right now. I have the account ID, name, industry, opportunity ID, opportunity name, and state. So whenever I work on this data set, and immediately if I convert this into the values table, then this is how the format, this is how the default fields in the data set will show up on the values table. Okay, so that's the way. This is something you can do in all the data sets. So for example, if I open any other data set, okay, let's say I open this opt account of inner join. Okay, now here again, if I go to values table, by default some fields will come up randomly. Okay, so there's no particular structure in which it will come up, right? Randomly some fields will show up. So ensure there are a few default fields which you automatically see when you go to the values table. You can actually try on this approach. Okay, that's the thing about this one. Now, other than this, let's say I already had one particular lens, right, already done for you. Now, for example, with this one, if there are certain things I want to do, for example, let's say, I want to show subscriptions. Okay. So what I will do is I will just click on this subscription over here. So basically it's written to get the schedule first, convert to SQL and the query board. Okay. So maybe I will do this part a bit later, but let's say I want to add this to collection. Fine. So what is this collection all about? So if you go to Analytics Studio, you will have something under this favorites and notification, I guess. Let me check. Okay, you see this option called connections. So on the Analytics Studio, you will have this option called collections. Okay, so for example, I already had one collection called test collection, which is fine, but I will just create one more collection for you. So let's say I just click over here, add to collection, and for example, let's say I want to create a new collection. Okay, let's say I will click on create collection, and let's say I name it as let me write something like first lens collection. I give the collection name as first lens collection, and let's say keep the color as something like orange maybe, and I will click on save. Okay, so this is now added to the first lens connection. Okay, so now what I will do is maybe I will go to analytics to then maybe I will just click on refresh. Okay, so now once I click on refresh, if you go to this first lens collection, you see this particular lens is now automatically seen over here. So if I just click on this one, that is something which will redirect me to here. So basically, there's a list of collections which you have. Fine. And here, of course, if you click on the setting icons, so we can also manage our collection. Like, so if you want to hide collection so that no longer appear in our left navigation, pin collection so they appear at the top. So if there is one collection which I don't want to show, for example, I already had this collection called test collection. If I don't want to show, if I just click on save, it will not appear over here as you can see. Okay, I can go to settings and again ensure that it shows up. But basically, there are certain collections which can always show and hide in your navigation, which is appears on the left. And if you want to show it at the top, you can just click on pin connection. That's what it's all about. Okay. So that's the thing about this collection. You can just click on this link and learn more about collections, but that's fine. That's how it is. Nothing much over here. Now, other than that, you have something called as favorite. So what is this favorite over here? So if you click on this favorites, so there are a few things which will appear over here, okay, under this favorite section. So you can also make this as favorite. So if you make it as favorite, it will appear in this lens section, okay. So what I will do is I will just make it as favorite right now. So I have added the favorite, and what I will do in the Analytics Studio, I will just refresh it once again. And here, if you go to lens, you see this is again appearing over here under favorites, okay. That's the way it works. Okay, that's the thing about favorites. And if you want to remove the favorites, you can again click on over here. Fine. And other than that, like the sharing option. So basically, once you have this particular lens, you can also clone that lens in a new tab. For example, this is a particular lens which is there, and let's say if there is some testing which I want to do, if there are changes which I want to do, but I'm not sure like how that changes will bring about to my client. So what I can do is I can always have a clone version of this and make certain changes to showcase certain features, or showcase certain parts of the lens to the clients and finally make it to the final version of the lens. So you can click on this clone in new tab, and this is how it will appear. So you can just name it as copy of. So automatically when you clone a dashboard or a lens, what happens is the copy of gets appended over there. So yeah, you can save it as this, like this will be another lens which will get saved. Okay, that's the thing. So this is another copy version. If you want to make certain changes, you can do it over here before making it to the final version. Fine. That's the thing about this one. And other than that, like we have something called as subscription as well. So what is the subscription about? So for example, I click on this, and to get scheduled email updates, first convert to SQL, go to query mode, click run query, and then save the list. So of course, this is a part which we also do. First convert to SQL, go to query mode, click on, yeah. So basically, this is a part which we also do, once we do certain things like bindings, which I will be explaining once we come to the advanced SQL. But here, what they are asking you is for the subscription part, first you want to convert it to an SQL mode, which means you just click on this query mode and you just click on run query. Okay, as of now, we will understand this SQL as a whole thing, like what is this SQL about. Okay, we will have a separate session, but for now, just let's understand the subscription part. Like if you just go to this query mode and just give a space, that's it. You can give the space anywhere in the line, that doesn't matter. Okay, and once you give it, you click on run query, and then you click on save basically from here. Okay, and now what happens is, now let's say if I go to this chart mode once again, and what I will do is I will just click on show subscription, and then I will click on save over here, and that's it. And once again, let me try to click on that subscription. So basically, subscription here, it is saying to receive scheduled email updates, save the lens with the view you want, and then click subscribe. So if I just click on subscribe, and let's say I want to give it as something like first lens subscription, okay, something like that. You can give some appropriate name based on the project, but let's say I give it as first lens subscription, and then I click on subscribe. So now if I just, you see one thing, something called one is appearing over here, which is fine, which is saying that this is the subscription which is added. Okay, now what I will do is, again I will go to Analytics Studio and I will click on refresh button. Now if you see on the subscription part, so this is how it's subscribed, as you can see here. So we have the subscription, like first lens subscription. Earlier also I subscribed one thing. We have something called as the first lens subscription as well. And this is the weekly which is done. It's Monday at 5 a.m. and you can always edit on this. Okay, and you can decide like when you want that email schedule subscription. So basically, this will appear on your email, come on your email, and you can just like ensure like when you want to subscribe it. So for example, here if I click on move to top, I can do that. Okay, I have clicked on move to top. Okay, so earlier just for testing purpose. Okay, it's getting refreshed. So earlier for testing purpose, I already had one more subscription example view, which is fine. But there is another view over here. Okay, and I guess I can delete this as well, but let it be there, not an issue. But the main part is like if you click on this edit button, for currently what I've done is basically I've subscribed for weekly on Monday. Time is 5 a.m. And if you want, you can just subscribe it to some other day as well. So this is like, for example, right now, every week, Monday at 5 a.m., I will get an email. Okay, whichever email will be there in your org for this org, and there I will get to see that subscription part, like this whole lens which will come up over there. Yeah. So that is the thing about this one. Cool. And yeah, let's once again go to that home and open that lens. Fine. And other than that, like you have something like this, you can edit the list, like what are the things, like these are some of the things, which I already had earlier. If you want, you can edit that list where, you want to select navigation list assets. So if there are certain assets which you want to see all the time, you can just ensure, you can change that option from here. Okay. And other than that, this is the other features which we have, which I explained you already. So yeah, that's it, I think, about this one. Fine. I think that part is something I wanted to explain you. So yeah, what finally, just to let you know, like we understood like what is this thing about, which is, the default fields, which like whenever you open any particular data set in values mode, there are certain default fields which will appear. And if you want to ensure that there is an order which you want to see, you can always select it from here. Okay. And other than that, we understood like what is this subscription about, fine, how the subscription works. Like it's something which is related to your email. I have just subscribed it, so I don't have that email to show right now. Maybe at later stage I can show you how that email comes up. Fine. And you have something called as collection, like on the Analytics Studio on the left, you have a collection one. You can create a collection, and over there you will be able to see that particular lens all the time, which you have added to the collection. You can add it to your favorite or remove it from your favorite as well. So under favorites, you can have many things under favorite, like your app, your I mean the apps were already there. You can have the lenses as well, which I did right now. Okay. And finally, we also understood how we can clone in a new tab, how we can clone the particular data sets. So yeah, that is everything about this one. And further, we will continue, the formatting of each of the chart, which we can see in dataset. Okay. So yeah, that's it about this session. Thank you, and let's meet very soon in the next one.